September 7th. Home stretch, Doc Rotorball compound, guys. Hold tight. I'm gonna show you what's going on, what we still have, our hopes, our dreams. They haven't been dashed completely yet. So pull up a chair and enjoy. So this week's video is gonna be a little bit of a hustle up Buttercup. Our melon plant, the veil, boy, she's nice. I trimmed up all the tips. This is what tips look like, and maybe a little bit of weeds that I can see seed pods. I try to trim those out best I can too. I still have the 150 plant. No reason for it to be there except for just laziness. Doesn't have to come out, so it hasn't come out. The melon, oh, we got a nice girl there. I honestly think at this juncture that sweet melon has a shot at the West Virginia state record, and I'm pretty excited about that. Rest of the plant, little side melon, yeah, side melon. Check out that powdery mildew. Yeah, the powdery mildew has been treated. It's still there, the new growing stuff, which is pretty wild to see this plant's still going. And I've got it bone dry up at the 150 around the pumpkin, the bottom side of the pumpkin, I should say. The top side of the pumpkin still moist, and of course underneath the watermelon, very moist. But happy camper with what I got here. And anytime you got a potential state record that maybe you're lucky, maybe you get it there, that's something to rejoice over. To the main patch. Oh, the main patch. So obviously the 2365 is compost now. It's ran its life, and the seed count was good. Germination was great. I've tilled up her spot, and I sowed down the mustard. And it's been crazy bone dry here, so I've had to use my corner impact sprinkler, and I got one down here. There she is, to keep this area nice and moist to actually germinate these seeds. And I've got some sparse areas, and that's because I came out here and I just spread it by hand like a yahoo. I didn't run a spreader or anything. And you look at this area and it's real naked, and you think, well, my goodness, Doc, you really missed that now, didn't you? And yeah, I did, but it was intentional, because the hope was maybe I trace these growing tips here of the 1965 for the end of the season, on up this pathway. Now, it's not gonna happen. That's a long distance, but I'm really pleased with the amount of foliage we have put on. I'll see if I can sneak in there and get close. It's good, healthy, large amount actually, and it's good. The growing tips, I've talked about that before in videos, guys. These growing tips are an indicator of, how's my soil? Am I getting the right stuff to them? And I mean, mercy sakes, you better believe I am. It looks great. So everything, I shouldn't say everything passes through the pumpkin to get here, not at this stage of the game, because there's just so much, but this is an indicator that, yeah, things are balanced, things are right. Yeah, maybe we have a little bit of bloat, maybe we back off of that, maybe that's heat induced. Either way, I'm pretty happy. At this point, I'm probably gonna let the secondaries and everything else just blow out of this. We've got, at the very most, what, 4 weeks, 5 weeks till the end of pumpkin season altogether. So getting in there and burying and training and doing that sort of nonsense, not worried about it. And I'm running a mustard underneath of it. So with any luck, when it comes to the end of the season, I'll pull these out of here and hopefully not disturb my mustard too bad. And that mustard will have a hard frost kill. I'm not delusional enough to think that it won't, but with any luck, maybe I get it up to knee high before it does. That'd be cool, because mustard really shoots down a nice taproot, and that taproot helps break up the soil. And obviously, as we all know, mustard is a biofumigant, so helps murder down the bad guys, whether it be crusty old nematodes we don't want, or fusarium or other yuckies in the soil. Yeah, I'm sure it murders some good guys too. It's not discriminated on its murdering pattern. All right, that's cover crop. What are we doing talking about cover crops? Show us the pumpkins, Doc. Well, let's look at the plant first. Oh, mercy. We got some age now, don't we? Yeah, we got some age. Home stretch, guys, you're gonna have some age. You're gonna have some leaves that look like this, especially the back half of the plant. I saw some people talking about, well, I'll leave them on until the last gun's fired, so to speak. And I mean, if that's not, that's descriptive of exactly what I do right there. I'll leave them on until I think, hey, they could be a problem. They're definitely not helping. They're hurting at this point. And then I'll selectively remove. So our area of surgery, real proud of our surgery here, guys. Check this nonsense out. Isn't this nice? Oh my. Just big old thick devil. Completely independent of one of another. Dry, clean. It's like two mains. How cool is that? Super cool. That's how cool that is. Let's run into the back of this pumpkin and take a look at this girl. Try to see what we look like. Boy, it's a windy day. Nice looking stem. Showing up a little bit dark on this camera, like, oh, what's that hole? Oh, it's a hole. That's not a hole. Let me find a zip tie. That is just a depression. You guys know that, oh, it's not even a depression. I'm gonna call that a recession. We're in a recession on this stem, but it's healthy and it's not leaking oog or anything. The zip ties up here, the reason I have that ringed around is to move my can fan. So my can fan puts out a lot of air. Woo! You can see kind of blowing there. And I use it, I hold a bungee to the wherever I want to move it around. And this is just another point for me to bungee onto if I want to move it higher up. And it's not tight or anything, and I can zoom this around. And if I felt like it was going to cause an issue, obviously I'd take it off there. The checking we had from earlier has healed up beautifully. There's that checking, perfectly normal radial checking from the stem. A little bit of dark. You'll see dark occasionally on your stems, like real black dark. That's mold, black mold. Probably don't want to breathe that in your lungs, but sure isn't going to hurt your pumpkin now, is it? And that's a hard, heavy no. A little bit of sapping. This stem's trying to split and do all sorts of nasties. You look down lower, look at that. Ooh, it's all right. It's hard, feels good. Put hands on things. Take those fingers, rub it into stuff, and put up your nose and smell it. If it smells bad, it's bad. If it smells okay, like pumpkin, you're all right. All right, we're in the bottom gate of the rotoball main patch, and we're working our way to some pumpkins. And we do have a little touch of powdery mildew on the fringes here, and it's mainly leaked over from the porch pumpkin. It's been heavily treated. I haven't seen it really spreading much since it's heavily treated. We're on the home stretch, so that's just the way we're gonna play it. The tomato plants, like Pete Casper's always, he walks by his and goes, yep, there they are. That's, at this stage of the game, that's kind of the way it is for me. I don't have anything of excitement there. The porch pumpkin, we haven't seen it for a while. Oh, she's a little chunky monkey. Yeah, this is the 2025.7 rotoball. Who knows what that even means, but tapes out 700 pounds. I think right on the nose, 700 pounds on the tape. It's the only fruit I didn't have on a scale. Obviously lose 2 scale fruit and get to take a porch pumpkin to a way off, but she's nice, and I'm excited to get her on the scale, get her a true number, and I'm blessed that she made it this far. Plants rough, weeds are rough, home stretch. The 1965.5 rotoball, some bloated crazy leaves, starting to bleach out. These leaves get taxed. Newer stuff looks pretty good. Like I said before, some powdery mildew. You know, areas that haven't been treated got treated. Still fighting it. And it's going to be a fight, and that's okay. In the season, we'll fight it. Big girl, she's doing all right. we get this wind to stop blowing the sheets off of it. Luckily, starting to get a little bit of cantalouping and holding sheets better. Won't lift a ton, but you guys, you see my photos online. You know exactly what we got under here. I mean, it's a good fruit. Let's look at the blossom. We can get to it. Oh yeah, looking good under there, sweet girl. So, something I want to show you guys. I'm very observant about my fruit and everything around them. Look at that stain line. Oh boy. You see a stain line like that around your fruit, you better take quick warning and nervousness towards it. Just follow it on around. Well, it ends there and it doesn't go any further. All right, next step, lift it up. Don't see anything in there. Run your hand on it. It's not wet or anything. What do you do with that hand once you touch stuff, guys? We talked about this a few minutes ago. You sniff those fingers. It smells good. It's good and clean. So my first thought is, oh crap, I got a pumpkin puking out on me on the scale. It's not that. I'm convinced it's not that, just from the smell. If there was that amount of puke to stain my mill fabric, and I looked through my old photos, another hint that I gave a while back, take photos, lots of photos. And maybe a week ago that wasn't there. Now it's here. Where'd it come from? We had some of the nastiest, quickest, heaviest rain we've had all season. And the best I can figure is my pumpkin kind of hangs out on both sides. And of course, everything slopes down to here. And it had been collected a bunch of gunk, just dripping all over it. Soaking down the sheet, running down the pumpkin, and made it wet. Well, luckily she's on a scale, so she dries out quick, which is nice. And I can look at my numbers, very importantly. I had some days that I grew 17, 18 pounds, and I shouldn't have been growing that much. I was not even remotely near that. So that means that that decking and that mill fabric and underneath of that pumpkin was a bog. That sheet of plywood was good and wet. Everything was wet. And it finally dried out, and I got back to regular numbers, which is pretty wild. When you go from 16 pounds to what you were, 8 or 9 pounds, in a matter of a day, 2 days, then it's pretty obvious. Kind of neat, but like I said, number one, touch it, feel it, smell it, inspect everything, be vigilant, always pay attention to what you're doing. All right, don't run off yet. I've got a nice montage video with an interview that Pops and I did for the local radio station talking about the Wild and Wonderful Way Off. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that or not, but the Wild and Wonderful Way Off is West Virginia's first and only GPC way off that a group of us old school West Virginia people, if you want to call me old school at this point, I'm not, 2019, but you know, Dustin tricked it. Man, he had this vision in his mind for years of having this way off and, you know, getting it together and finally making it happen. Anyway, so this is a nice, cool interview of me and Pops talking to a radio station. Nice man named Bill Wise, local radio station, about the way off, trying to promote it a little bit, which is coming up next weekend, September 14th, Craigsville, West Virginia, Wild and Wonderful. Number 2, baby. Yeah. And you want to talk about a good melon purse? I want to say we're second in the world on melon purse. That's pretty cool. We're strong on melons. And we're pretty good on pumpkins regionally. You know, we're not competing with Half Moon Bay, and we're not competing with Canfield, and some of these big way offs have been going on for years, but you know, we're getting our foot in the door, and we have the growers behind us, and they're really excited. They want to come show fruit, and they want to help out with the way off. Couldn't be more tickled and blessed. But anyway, watch the montage that I hope to overlay of just some photos, some cool stuff, while you listen to the. I want to visually dazzle you while I audibly dazzle you. Thanks for watching as always, folks, and continue watching for another Oh, mercy. 9 minutes? Is that serious? 9 minutes? Oh.
Craigsville Fall Festival coming up next week, the 10th through the 15th. The 15th being the big day, and a lot of fun stuff going on. And some of that includes the Mountain State Giant Growers, their Wild and Wonderful Way Off. It is the second annual event, and they're expecting it to be bigger and better than ever this year. I've got Chris and Albert Rodeball with me this morning. Gentlemen, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Pretty good, sir.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about what's been going on since we last talked about a month and a half ago. Albert, what you got working, my friend?
Well, I lost one, but I still have two.
Oh, no. What happened? Did deer get it?
No, it...
Grower error.
Yeah, we can say that.
Okay.
That's just the nature of growing pumpkins.
It just happens sometimes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I 10-4. All right, but you got two you're working on.
Yes, sir.
What, both pumpkins?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, good deal. How about you, Chris? What's in the hopper?
Yeah, so I started out with 4 and I'm down to 2. Unlike Pops, mine's definitely not grower error.
Okay.
no, every farmer currently knows that we're in a drought. We've been in a drought, and obviously we're watering. We have heavy irrigation, but even that only goes so far. So we lost a lot of fruit regionally. West Virginia and surrounding states this year, but what we do have left and what's left out there, boy, they're dandies.
So what you're saying is, Chris, despite all the watering efforts you do, the drought still does have an impact on the growing season.
Absolutely. A lot of times when you have precipitation, you're going to have these overcast, cloudy days, and that kind of gives your leaves a little bit of a rest. When high UV day after day after day kind of takes a toll on the foliage and on the fruit itself. Yes, sir.
All right. Now, last year, the first event for Mountain State Giant Growers, the Wild and Wonderful Way Off, was a huge success. Far exceeded your expectations.
Absolutely. We had folks from 6-7 different states show up with a ton of fruit. Actually, several tons of fruit.
I need that little drum and cymbal thing over
drum
here.
Out for that. But yeah, an excellent showing, and super pleased. Went off without a hitch, and just a wonderful, family-friendly, fun event with a beautiful day. Lord bless us with a beautiful day that day.
I was blown away by what I saw last year, and of course, the Wild and Wonderful Way Off going on next Saturday. That's going to be the 14th. Registration opens up at 8 a.m. The Way Off starts at 9. You guys are going to probably need 2 forklifts with the crowd you're expecting.
We've got a lot of fruit coming from a lot further away, so we expect at least 20 to 50% more fruit and growers. This will be the site to win this year when it comes to watermelons. We regionally are positioned in the country and really the world as one of the hot spots for watermelon growers. So we're going to see more fruit in that department and even more in our pumpkins.
All right, Albert, we've touched base on pumpkins and watermelons. What are some of the other giant fruits that people are likely to come into contact with next weekend?
All long gourds, bushel gourd, field pumpkin, tomato.
Marrow. Yeah, so
okay, a marrow. Back up. Wait a minute. Explain.
Oh, okay. So a marrow is like an oversized zucchini. Just the strangest thing you ever seen. Not terribly popular to grow in the stateside, but since the Great Pumpkin Commonwealth is a international organization, we do weigh those on behalf of growers as well. We may see one, we may not. Very strange fruit, but something worth looking at.
Okay. Is there going to be anything more obscure than the marrow there?
No, that's pretty much it. I do feel like the long gourd is something that really catches folks' eyes. A fruit that grows on a trellis high up on the air and can grow 10 to 12 feet in length, this single long gourd, which is just, I always think it's something neat to look at.
I saw the one they had there last year. It looked like a ginormous green bean.
Yes, sir.
It did. I knew it was, and I had to ask somebody because I know that's not a green bean, is it? But yeah, one of your definitely more obscure type of fruits as well. And you don't think of, when you think of fruits, you think peaches and apples and stuff like that. Now, are there competitions for fruits like that as well? Do they have a tendency to grow? I mean, you're not going to get, of course, a 50-pound peach, but
no, I would say something. It needs to be I'm sure that there are. I'm sure that there's a competition to some extent, but pumpkins are the Super Bowl of giant vegetables. That is the one everyone chases. That is the most difficult to get as big as possible. And really, last year, the world record was set at 2,749 pounds, which is just incredible to think that an individual can grow a fruit in a single season to that size.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Was it grown here in West Virginia, out of the area, or what?
It was grown in the United States. The world record was actually held for several years overseas,
wow.
back to back by different growers, and this one was grown in Minnesota.
Now, these fruits stay on the vine almost up to game time, don't they?
Absolutely. So they're going to continuously gain weight throughout the season. Early in life, they put on upwards of 40 to 60 pounds a day, which is just incredible. You can visually watch them grow. Go to work, come home at lunch, and go, wow, you've put on some weight, haven't you?
Absolutely. It's going to be a ton of fun. Now, not only is this a competition next weekend, this is a spectator sport as well. You definitely want to come and see this.
Oh, yeah. We have a great MC announcing crew, and we really get the crowd into it.
Yeah, but be there early. It's fun to watch these roll in the back of trucks, on trailers, and again the forklift I was watching last year. There was a couple of times that the back wheels started coming up off the ground.
Yes, we have a really good forklift operator, very safe. We get the pallet jacks from out of the Craigsville Foodland where we hold the event, and we're trying to stage stuff with the pallet jacks, and we have Clayton on the forklift, and he's handling that end of it. We have no worries there. We get the forklift from
Mr. Mullins from Artec.
Artec, yes.
Kind enough, and that's the thing. We've got a lot of community support behind us
A
on
lot
this,
of sponsors,
which is great. You know, folks want to see this happen. They know that this is good, clean, family fun environment, and we couldn't be more blessed to have the community behind us helping us out here.
Now, this just isn't some little state event. This is a regional event, correct?
This is international.
International. Okay.
A person could bring a fruit from Canada, or if they could put one on an airplane or a ship, and they could anywhere in the world. But realistically, we'll probably pull the furthest we'll pull away from is South Carolina or New York, which is still a fair drive. And what brings people here is the event itself is very nice, ties in with the Fall Festival, which is wonderful. If you haven't been, you need to go to the Fall Festival. And just getting together as a group, people love it.
Now, yeah, you mentioned South Carolina. Of course, the fruit stays on the vines up till game time almost. Once they're cut, they start getting smaller.
They do. Now, you know, everybody theorizes on how much a fruit loses, but traditionally, from my experience, a pumpkin will lose about 3 to 6 pounds a day once cut. And that 3 to 6 pounds a day could be the difference between first or second place.
Wow.
Which is several $100s.
But growers will go to any length not to lose that weight. They'll cut the vines long, put it down in jugs of water. They'll cover it with sheets and blankets and hose the blankets down, trying to keep the water on the pumpkin.
They treat those pumpkins better than they do their kids, don't they?
Well, I don't know.
Tell me, Chris, does he? Does he?
No comment.
But anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's the Mountain State Giant Growers Wild and Wonderful Way Off, the second annual event, and it's going to be at the Foodland in Craigsville. Registration starts at 8 o'clock next Saturday morning. The Way Off begins at 9. Chris, if somebody needs information on this, maybe they have a giant fruit that they've not told anybody about and they want to enter.
Yeah, definitely look us up online. The Mountain State Giant Growers has a Facebook page, and we'd love to have you a member and just check it out and see how things go. A lot of information there on growing technique, how to get seeds, that sort of thing. If you're looking for seeds, there's always plenty of seeds at megapumpkins.com. That's where I get a lot of my seeds, or the club will sell seeds through there, and we may have some seeds available on site. Even if you just show up to see what's going on and speak with some of the growers and kind of get an idea of what's going on, this might be something that interests you to try in your own garden.
All right, Chris and Albert Rodabaugh, may the best man win next weekend.
I shall.
Oh, mercy.
For more details on this, you can go to fallfestivalwv.com. Guys, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Probably the hardest video you've watched all season, and it should be. We're at the end of the season. It's grind time. It's hard. Guys, as always, I really appreciate you watching. Good luck to the scales. Scale time's here. It's showtime, baby. Time to pull up the truck, and you know what stops when the tailgate drops. Thanks for watching, and good luck. See you at scales. Doc out.